Welcome to Top Nations Today, your daily global roundup. In this episode, we bring you the top 5 news stories from the 15 most influential countries shaping our world. Let's dive into the headlines. Australia. 1. U.S. Marines and Australian Navy strengthened bonds with a friendly football match in Darwin, part of joint exercise Coral Sword ahead of July 4th celebrations. 2. Queensland's Premier is lobbying to host a Quad leaders meeting, hoping to boost beef and mineral export deals amid global tariff changes. 3. Severe thunderstorms pummeled New South Wales overnight, hail, flash floods, and damaged commutes disrupted thousands. 4. A $1.75 billion solar subsidy expansion was approved to encourage rooftop installations in remote Indigenous communities. 5. A bushfire risk escalated near Adelaide, with evacuation alerts issued as aerial patrols monitored fire activity. Canada. 1. Parliament passed a $3 billion seniors care funding increase, expanding home and community support nationwide. 2. Toronto Transit Union suspended potential strikes pending fresh negotiations, averting a massive commute crisis. 3. Canada's trade deficit shrank in May, driven by strong lumber and energy exports amid global demand. 4. Canada Post reported record parcel volumes this summer, heavily driven by increased e-commerce activity. 5. A federal court ruled to strengthen youth vaping regulations, citing rising adolescent health concerns. China. 1. China imposed anti-dumping duties up to 34.9% on EU cognac exports, except some top brands, to counter reciprocal EV tariffs. 2. An early heatwave hit China's eastern seaboard, with temperatures reaching 37 to 40 degrees Celsius, threatening crops and infrastructure. 3. Beijing confirmed a fragile trade truce with the U.S., urging Washington to uphold recent export license agreements. 4. China's automakers rolled out new assisted driving guidelines to balance innovation with safety over Level 3 systems. 5. The Dalai Lama's government in exile said indirect talks with China may resume but warned aims are limited. France. 1. Strike action by air traffic controllers disrupted up to 40% of flights at Paris airports as negotiations stall. 2. France and Britain unveiled plans to curb migrant channel crossings using taxi boat patrol coordination. 3. A massive heatwave baked Paris at nearly 42 degrees Celsius, prompting health alerts and school closures. 4. Proposals for outdoor smoking bans in children's areas are under consideration, with fines being debated. 5. A new windfall tax bill on energy profits is gaining momentum amid TotalEnergies surging Q2 earnings. Germany. 1. Germany is in talks to purchase Patriot missile systems for Ukraine after the U.S. paused deliveries. Berlin may cover the gap. 2. Defense Minister Merz proposed a new 6-month voluntary military service program for young Germans, citing European security concerns. 3. Germany's parliament passed new AI oversight laws to regulate facial recognition in public spaces. 4. Deutsche Bank reported €1.8 billion in Q2 profits, surpassing estimates, fueled by retail and asset management divisions. 5. The Bundestag approved €20 billion in hydrogen and offshore wind investments as part of its 2030 carbon neutrality goals. India. 1. The IMD issued a 15-day flood and landslide warning across Himachal, Uttarakhand, and northeastern states. 2. India's Trade Minister Piyush Goyal stated New Delhi won't rush into trade pacts and will act only when it benefits national interests. 3. A brutal heatwave sent Delhi's mercury to 47 degrees Celsius, prompting school closures and widespread heatstroke admissions. 4. ISRO announced Chandrayaan-4 will launch next month, targeting the moon's south pole with upgraded rover tech. 5. The Lok Sabha passed the Uniform Civil Code draft bill, triggering nationwide debates across political and religious groups. Israel. 1. Israel offered a 60-day ceasefire if Hamas releases all hostages. Talks are ongoing through Qatari and U.S.-backed channels. 2. Wildfires in northern Israel led to emergency evacuations. Fire services suspect downed power lines during extreme heat. 3. The Supreme Court upheld the West Bank outpost evacuation order, citing land rights violations. 4. Israel and Jordan signed a bilateral water-sharing accord to combat prolonged drought in the Jordan Valley. 5. Tel Aviv's cybersecurity startup hub received $150 million in new funding for defense AI and satellite encryption tech. Italy. 1. A gas station explosion in Rome injured 29 people and caused major structural damage in the surrounding district. 2. Italy plans to host an emergency EU summit next week to coordinate migrant policies after boat arrivals tripled. 3. Prime Minister Meloni's government survived a no-confidence vote linked to EU fund misuse allegations. 4. Venice experienced historic flooding from a summer storm surge. St. Mark's Basilica saw knee-high water. 5. Ferrari announced a record quarter, driven by surging demand for hybrid supercars across Europe and Asia. Japan. 1. Japan will begin test mining rare earth mud from seabeds in 2026 to reduce reliance on China for EV materials. 2. The Tokyo Stock Exchange reached a 34-year high, driven by chipmakers and weak yen advantages. 3. Prime Minister Kishida unveiled a national AI ethics framework, calling for transparency and global standards. 4. A magnitude -6.2 quake struck near Osaka. Although no fatalities were reported, over 200 homes sustained damage. 5. Sony unveiled PlayStation 6 teaser tech including full-body VR and a neural interface prototype. South Korea. 1. Seoul warned North Korea against launching trash-filled balloons, calling them provocations cloaked in parody. 2. A cyberattack on Seoul Stock Exchange was attributed to the North's Lazarus Group. Trading resumed after 4 hours. 3. Samsung introduced the Flexbook Duo, a foldable tablet laptop hybrid designed for creators and professionals. 4. K-pop star Jimin kicked off a sold-out global solo tour with massive crowds in LA and London. 5. South Korea joined US and Japan in expanded naval drills near Okinawa to counter Chinese maritime expansion. Russia. 1. Russia launched its largest drone strike on Kyiv to date. Ukraine claimed 84% were intercepted, but multiple cities were hit. 2. The Kremlin stated that any Ukraine peace deal must include guarantees of NATO non-membership, a condition Kyiv refuses. 3. Moscow accused NATO of cyberattacks on its military communication servers, which NATO denies. 4. Russia and Iran finalized a $30 billion oil pipeline project set to bypass Western sanctions and increase export flow to Asia. 5. Hundreds were detained across Russia in anti-draft demonstrations, with civil liberties groups calling for international pressure. Saudi Arabia. 1. Saudi Arabia and South Korea signed a $15 billion deal to build EV battery plants across Riyadh and Jeddah. 2. Aramco pledged to keep oil output steady through Q4, citing balanced global demand. 3. Tourism surged 22% this summer as the kingdom eased visa rules for Chinese and Indian visitors. 4. Hajj concluded peacefully with 2 million pilgrims. Crowd control systems and health monitoring were widely praised. 5. The government expanded remote healthcare access through a new nationwide telemedicine network for rural clinics. Turkey. 1. Turkey intercepted illegal Russian arms bound for Libya, seizing drones and ammunition in a major port raid. 2. President Erdogan met with Qatar's emir to coordinate a regional Gaza ceasefire plan with Egypt's support. 3. Inflation hit 42%. Turkey's central bank raised interest rates to 30% despite warnings of rising unemployment. 4. Massive anti-corruption protests in Istanbul drew over 100,000 people demanding judicial reform and transparency. 5. Turkish Airlines revealed 30 new international routes for 2026 expansion into Africa, Central Asia, and Latin America. United Kingdom. 1. Former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn is exploring a new political party after tensions with Keir Starmer over Gaza policy. 2. UK welfare U-turns prompted S&P to warn about fiscal instability, citing post-pandemic funding gaps. 3. London tube workers called for a week-long strike over pension reforms and pay stagnation. 4. King Charles began a climate diplomacy tour across the Commonwealth with stops in Australia, Kenya, and Fiji. 5. British tech companies called for an AI, fast-track, visa system amid post-Brexit hiring challenges. United States. 1. Trump hosted a July 4 White House event, where he signed the Big Beautiful Bill package on immigration, defense, and energy. 2. Nationwide, Free America, protests erupted on Independence Day, opposing Trump's second-term bid and Supreme Court decisions. 3. A record heatwave continued across the Southwest. Phoenix hit 118 degrees Fahrenheit, leading to dozens of heatstroke hospitalizations. 4. Biden met NATO leaders in Brussels today, urging faster aid delivery to Ukraine and unified cybersecurity response. 5. Tesla unveiled its next general AI chip, promising ultra-low latency for its upcoming autonomous vehicle fleet. That's your global briefing for today. Like, subscribe, and join us tomorrow for another round of worldwide updates, only on Top Nations Today.